It's the Dropping Dimes podcast. I'm your host, Mark Veer, and welcome to episode number 31. We're still in season 4, Coach's Corner. Excited to have both these coaches on today in front of me, Vela and Lorenzo Anthony. Fellas, how we doing?
Really good, really good.
I'm doing great, man. Excited.
Yeah, I appreciate you both coming. I apologize. It's July 4th. I don't know what I'm thinking. What a terrible host I am for getting you guys on 4th, but I appreciate you waking up. I know Artie had a nice weekend fishing, and he's going to head back out there on Sunday. But let's do some quick intros. I know a lot of people know you in the city, but some may not. So, Artie, we'll start with you. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got into coaching, and what you're currently doing now.
I came into the coaching area about 2000. I've been with the district SASD for about almost 30 years already. Just like anybody else, I felt I was influenced by teachers and other coaches when I was growing up, and I kind of fell in love with trying to be a servant to kids and helping out kids become better basketball players. I've been in only one district, which is SASD, for, like I said, 30 years. I did 10 years at Edison, a couple years at a middle school, and then I came over here to Jefferson and did. I think I'm on my 10th year over here at Jefferson now. So I've done, I've had some good consistent years in playoffs and winning. I really don't keep track of my records and all that good stuff. I kind of just go year to year, try to do my best with these kids and keep working with them.
Add-on question for you. I did put this down. I didn't know you've been in a district that long. Talk about SASD. Talk about kind of the kids that you're working with. It's not an easy district, obviously, to coach in. Those are tough games. Me being a basketball referee and an assigner, those are always tough games to work. But just kind of talk about, your day-to-day working with those kids and, how tough that culture is.
I think if you work in SASD, you kind of have to have a vision of development for kids, because we are in the inner city. It's a dying district enrollment wise. We're losing kids, not just athletic wise, but academic wise. It's a tough area to coach if you don't understand the communities, you don't understand the area. And it's also hard for some of you guys that referee our games, because it's really small ball. We're pretty much 6 foot and under district. Kids they don't have the luxury of having all the camps and clinics and everything like that, like some of these other kids on the outside 410. So you have to have something where you can see and believe in these kids if you come work in this district, because we will flunk the eye test in SASD compared to anybody else. And that goes for also, I know, Harlandale, South San, all those districts that are in inner city. It's not the easiest to coach. You have to find ways to get these kids involved all the time.
Yeah, love it. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll dive into a bunch of topics going on. Appreciate the intro. So, kind of same question for you. We talked a little bit about pod and kind of you've been in the collegiate level and the high school level, and then congratulations on your new position as well. Just kind of introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm Lorenzo Anthony. I started my coaching career as a GA at St. Mary's University. I was a GA for about 3 years. Before becoming a GA, I honestly didn't know what I was going to do after coaching college, and then I had some people that believed in me. Good guy of mine passed away, Buddy Myers, kind of just believed in me. Thought coaching was going to be the way to go. So I did my GA for about 3 years at St. Mary's University, and then I stayed there after graduating with my master's. I stayed there for another 3 years as an assistant. Then from there, I went over to the JUCO world, which is a different world. Coach junior college out in West Texas for about 3 years. It was awesome. A lot of stories, a lot of fun. I lived on campus with the guys, so I was always around them, and it was nothing but work and grind. Then after that, I went over to Austin Chief for a couple of years. I had a friend that was a principal over there, so I went over there and helped him out, taught and coached over there for a couple of years. Then I went over to Stockdale High School, which is about 45 minutes away from San Antonio. Was over there for about 4 years. I did a great job over there. I had a lot of fun. Really grew as a coach and as a person while being at Stockdale. And now I'm at McCullum High School, ready to get to work. The kids have been working hard so far over the summer. Parents and the community been very supportive. And everybody have high expectations, and that's what I love about being at McCullum so far. Is everyone had high expectation, parents have high expectation, principal high expectation, superintendent high expectation, and that's what I'm here for, man. With the high expectations, and kids been working hard and bought in so far. So I'm excited about the group I have at McCullum, and I think we're pretty deep and really, really excited about what we're gonna do this year.
Yep, love it. Congrats to in a position. I was excited that you got it when it was posted. I've had a lot of referees hit me up and ask about, hey, who's this new coach at McCullum? Is he okay? I said, he gonna be passionate. I can tell you that. He gonna run up and down that sideline, and you better be on your P's and Q's for sure. So yeah, congrats on the new position. All right, Artie. First question for you. I touched on a little bit. Fishing is a big part of your life. You know, when I first met you, I knew you do that and you do it with your kids. I've seen you on other podcasts talking about it. So I've got to bring it up. Talk a little bit about your passion for it. I know it's a family affair. And I'm sure it's probably good therapy for you too. You've been coaching for so long. It's probably nice to just get away and get your thoughts and all that stuff. So just tell us a little bit about how important that is with you and your family.
Fishing.
Yeah, fishing.
I think it's I think it's the best sport. Fishing. You
There
sit
you go.
there, you cast out that pole. You have to sit there and you got to communicate with your family. If you're not catching, you got to communicate. That line of communications when you go out to the coast and you sit there and on a pier and just throwing out that rod and everything, and fish are not biting. I've done it with my kids since they're older now, and we still do it. And I'm passionate about going out there. It's something I enjoy. It's relaxing. It gets me away from all the stuff in the city sometimes, that kind of get you off the phone, gets you, you have to kind of talk to your family when you're out there. It's one of those sports that you sit around a whole lot and enjoy family time.
Yeah, and it shows with your kids. Let's talk a little bit about your kids, right? You're able to coach both of them. There's a question later on I think you'll find interesting, but we'll get into that later. But we've had a lot of coaches on here that have coached their kids. I love that you still hang out with them. You still talk to them. They're both very successful there. I knew they were going to be coaches when I first met them. But just talk about the importance of, when you coach them and then kind of life after basketball when you weren't.
I think that's probably one of the most special things as a coach, if you can coach your own kid. It's not the easiest thing though, because my oldest Artie he was a handful. He was a headache, man. I had to stay on that guy. He's very vocal, very chippy, and he's still to this day. I still got to stay on his ass. And same thing with Lorenzo. But I know the beginning of coaching those guys. It was they looked at me as just dad, and I was like, dad knows a little bit about basketball, so you're gonna listen to me, kind of deal. But once they catch on and they figure it out, I think it's special that you can. If you're able to coach your kid, I mean, it's something hard to explain, but that's probably one of the best times I had with in coaching is coaching my own kid. It was rewarding for me as not just the trying to win games and all that stuff, but to be with your kid daily. And I spent a lot of time with my kids, coaching them and sending them to school there at Edison. And I was very thankful for Edison taking those two guys in. They were tough. Tough kids that were to stay on top of. But it worked out for them. It worked out.
I love it. It's an interesting perspective because we talk a lot about daddy ball. You know what I mean? We hear it all the time, like, oh, don't coach your kid, let someone else do it, or this and this. Man, it worked out great for you guys. Like to your point, I of course I saw you at dad, but man, I saw them grow into like, okay, I actually see this guy as a coach. Like I saw it when I reffed your games, when I saw you guys play. So you must have done a really good job. We won't dive into that too much, but I love that perspective because I hear it all the time, like that you shouldn't coach your kids. But I love what you said. You're like, no, it's the most rewarding thing. So any advice for anybody out there, thinking about, I don't know if I want to do the daddy ball type stuff?
I think it's a balance though. So Art Gonzalez, remember Art Gonzalez? He coaches his boys at Highlands, and I was on Artie and Lorenzo. Really, I mean, I was taking it to the dinner table almost. We leave the gym. I was critiquing them. I was on them. I was putting pressure on them. And Art Gonzalez pulled me aside and he told me, once you leave that gym and you get in that truck and you go home, don't talk about basketball. Leave it in the gym. You're the coach. At home, you're dad. Once I took that advice, because it's there's a lot of pressure because you're the head coach, and people are always going to say, oh well, you're starting, you're getting all the playing time already because your dad's the head coach. And I wanted to put pressure on both of them. They had to earn their way to be on there. I mean, there was plenty of times I kicked them off off the practice floor and had higher expectations that it wasn't even fair to the other kids. Were looking at me like I was crazy. But once I got that advice from Art Gonzalez, and I got in my truck, I went home, and he said, let them talk to you about basketball. You don't bring that up to them. And from there on, it worked out really well for me, because when I went home, I bit my tongue, because there was a couple of times I wanted to rip into those guys, but I learned to let them bring the basketball, and then we were starting to have good conversations. And they learned the game, from away from the gym. We were conversing in the right way, not where we're upset with each other.
Yeah, I love it. We've talked on so many podcasts about the car ride home. I've had a sports psychologist come on. So to hear that from you, that has been doing this long, and that has had very much success with 2 kids, I love it. So it's an easy message, I know it, but man, parents and coaches really do struggle with that. Just leave it in the gym, right? Leave it in the gym on the way
Leave it
home,
in the gym.
family time. So yeah, I appreciate you touching on that. Yep. It's a great message. All right. So Lorenzo, first question, if you apologize, but it's a loaded question, and I've asked every coach that's come on, and you can tackle this however you want, but we're talking about, where do we feel San Antonio basketball is today from an AAU or high school perspective, whatever you want to touch on. And I think it's a good question for you, because you've seen it. You've seen it as a player here. I know you said you played the Highlands for 4 years, and then you've gone, kind of a lot. You've done a lot in a short amount of time. So I think you're going to see this from different perspectives. But where do you think we are, San Antonio, today?
I truly believe it's a great question. I truly believe that we're going in the right direction with the high school perspective. What this past year, we had 3 schools from San Antonio in state semifinals. That alone, right there, shows that we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right things. We're not too far behind. We're going in the right direction. And even with the 2 divisions, I think that's going to help us out in San Antonio a lot. Splitting the 2 divisions up, and that's going to give more teams in San Antonio opportunities to get to that next level of trying to be at that state tournament, that regional tournament. But I truly believe that we're going in the right direction, and we're not far behind. But having 3 teams get to the state tournament, that's huge. I thought state semifinals, I think that's huge.
Yep, absolutely agree. Good add-on question for you in regards to this. So we have always talked about Houston and Dallas since I got here. That's all I ever heard about, is like San Antonio is trying to catch Houston and Dallas, right? And we know that the DNA there is different. They're bigger, stronger, more athletic. I don't think that's ever going to change. Coach Briggs did say something the other day that he believes San Antonio does have enough size. We're just not developing them. Possibly. But my question to you is, what does the identity need to be for San Antonio if we're trying to close the gap? And obviously, let's say we don't get bigger and stronger kids here, and this is going to be the demographic that we have in San Antonio. What do you think the identity, or what do we need to focus on much to continue to go in the right direction?
I truly believe mentality is the right way to go. And I think mentality that goes into the work that you put in. I know with my program at McCullum, the weight room is extremely important, and it's not just about throwing the most weight in as possible. It's about really mentally putting you in a situation where it's going to make you think, and it's going to be really tough. It's going to make you want to quit, but just the mentality of practice, of workouts, setting an identity during the summer will help us put ourselves in the right direction physically. Mentally, if you got in your mind that nothing's size don't matter, I think that will help your program, and that will help San Antonio, period.
Yep, totally agree. It's I'm in the soccer world with my son, and it's the same in the soccer world. Guess what teams are bigger, stronger, and faster? Houston and Dallas. And we travel a lot. And the coach said exact same thing. It's got to be a mindset thing. It's got to be we just got to be, physically and mentally stronger. And I love to hear that from you. So I think it's the same in all sports that we have. This is what we deal with in San Antonio, and this is what we got to focus on. So, yep, appreciate that response. Artie, same question for you. Where do you think we're at?
I think we're going in the right direction. I think we have a lot of support here. I mean, we got guys like you. We got a basketball circle in San Antonio area that we got some really good coaches. I think we got some good club coaches. We got high school coaches. It just comes down to, I guess, getting uncomfortable and getting that mentality that we have to find our own identity. Because my first time experience with UIL. I went to Frisco to play. I took Jefferson last year to the tournament up there in Dallas, and man, it was just it was a different animal out there. Coaching wise too. I mean, the coaching was, it put a lot of pressure on me to try to figure out how to play those big kids out there, those athletic kids out there. And I think we just got to get them tougher mentally overall from in San Antonio, from coaching wise to referees to off season, where they're just we got to find our own mentality. I believe you're right. Dallas and Houston are different animals. We're not going to be able to. I don't think with the size and all that and the athletic ability, they have so much going on out there, and the support they have out there. You go to Duncanville, you got 8 or 9 basketball gyms in one high school. I mean, they have it just different. But if we can find our identity mentally to toughen up, our basketball circle with from coaching to off season to refereeing, the way we do the game down here, I think we can find that identity. But I do think San Antonio is going in the right direction. I know people look at San Antonio like, hey, well, you're not Houston, you're not Dallas, but these are our kids, and I think this is where we, as coaches, as high school coaches, we got to find a way to improve them and make them better. Also, to compete at that level, because it happens when you get to the playoffs. We got to find a way to beat those teams, or do we just say, hey, it's Dallas and Houston and back down from it? I don't know. I think our direction is right, because we do have people like you, Mark. I mean, we're on this podcast. We're talking about basketball, San Antonio. And then I'm connected with a bunch of guys in that club world also too. And I think I think everybody has a different approach, and everybody sometimes gets sensitive about, everybody has a different opinion also. If we can just, try to come together and figure it out. I know your intentions are here. You want to see good basketball in San Antonio. I want to see good basketball in San Antonio. And I think majority of those guys out there that are doing all season also want to see the best guys, coming out of San Antonio. So that direction, I feel like we're going the right way. We just got to find that, like Lorenzo was saying, that mentality, man, just toughness, and not to back down, and just because they're Houston or Dallas or whatever, but to figure it out and try to compete at that high level when we get into the playoffs.
I appreciate your message, Artie, because this is the reason why I started the podcast. I do truly believe San Antonio basketball is in a good space, but of course we can always get better. But there's so many, like you said, different opinions, and we're not, as like Boo Man said at the very first podcast, right? Community is that we've lost community. And I don't think that in a negative way. I just think people are doing their own thing, which is fine. But then if we can get everybody on the same page, AU, high school, referees, and I agree, because referees a whole different animal, right? But if we can do that was the reason I started this. I just think if we can bring some, education from all these different entities that I've had on here, man, I think we can. I really do. And I think San Antonio needs to stop worrying about chasing Houston, Dallas, and just worry about San Antonio. Yeah. I've heard it for 20-something years up here. All we care about. I'm like, okay, can we just worry about San Antonio?
Yeah,
go ahead.
You're right. We can. That's another deal over there. But and you hit it right with. I mean, my career is based on really taking care of this community. Wherever I've coached, the community was big for me. And if kids didn't want to come play for me, hey man, I didn't have a hard time with that. But I wanted everybody to know that I will take care of your kid if he comes over here. I will make that guy work though. I will stay on him. But the community was big for me. The buy-in from parents, the buy-in from especially inner city. You got to get them on the same page, because it could get kind of rough if the community's not on the same page with you. And then trying to find that basketball circle with everybody to try not to undercut each other. And that's a tough part right there, because there's people our Vela doesn't know, he's getting old, he doesn't know what the hell is going on. I'm gonna undercut him, and I'm gonna take that kid over here, and it gets crazy. And I said, I just keep going forward. You just have to have thick skin and continue to do what's right for the kids and the community and all that good stuff. I think will fall in place for you.
Yep. Totally agree. Love it. Great stuff. Okay. Next question. Lorenzo, go to you. You touched on a little bit. Let's talk about TABC. What a great event. 22 teams. I don't know if y'all saw this. I put out just San Antonio's record. I didn't have an opinion. I just put it out there on the podcast, and my phone blew up. Was like, man, that's great. Why? And then I had to do another one that the games were close. The record didn't show how well actually San Antonio did. There was a lot of really close games, and there was some blowouts, and it was kind of mixed lower. But Lorenzo, tell us about the event, Deep Talent, and then how do you feel San Antonio came away maybe from a record perspective and also from just a growth perspective as well?
TABC was awesome, man. That was actually my first time experiencing it as a coach and going up there and coaching my own team. And the talent was very deep. The gym they had us in was a little different. We're still working our way up. I remember before going out to Dallas, I had talked to a good friend of mine, San Antonio coach, and I was like, man, they got us in the back gym. And I said, but which I expect. And you got to climb. You got to climb to get to those front gyms to see that talent, to play against that talent. But overall, with San Antonio, I didn't get a chance to watch too many games of San Antonio. My mindset was trying to spend more time with my kids, trying to be around my assistant coaches, talk to parents. So a lot of times I was spending my time doing that. But overall, I'm hearing, I think a lot goes into going over to TABC, especially when it comes to records, because now you got kids that's in positions they never been in. You got kids that are first time being leaders, first time being on varsity team, first time being a starter. So much goes into that. With me, my first time coaching my kids with my first year, it just so much goes into it that I think the record can't always show who did well, who did bad. It's more of a good feel for the coaches of like where we want to go, what we need to work on more during the off season. But it was the talent throughout the showcase. The ABC is a good place to get your foot wet and being able to coach your kids over the summer. My thoughts with TABC was well. Don't look at the records as a coach and as a player, and that was my mindset going into TABC was, fellas, let's not look at the record. Let's go get better, but let's go win. Because that's the only way we're gonna get to those big gyms, the front gyms. Is let's go win. Let's go make people remember us. And whoever we play hard. So our mindset going into TABC was trying to get better and just trying to get people to remember us, and for me to get to know my players and my players know me. But TABC was pretty good. I just don't think that we should look into records when it comes to TABC.
Agreed. Yeah, I got some heat, and I just put the record out on my. People get very sensitive, but that was just
What was the
putting out
record?
information. That's all I was doing. I was trying to find it.
I mean, I don't have social
Like
media.
31 and yeah, see you being messy right here, get me in trouble. But same question for you. I know I think Cullen went 3-0, and I think Jeff went 0-3. Until I get that
Went
right?
3,
I think
yeah.
that sounds right, doesn't it?
You know what?
Yeah, 0-3 and
You
3-0.
know, hey, you know what though? They need to stop being sensitive about that. 0-3, it's kind of a reality check for me. It's a reality check for a coach. It's a reality check for parents. It's a wake up call. So we're trying to improve as basketball players, and we're trying to get better as a team. And now you guys that were in this different world of like, oh, we're good, and we take you out there and give them that experience. I want them to see that. I want them to see, hey, yeah, we're 0-3. We got out of 410 and we went up north, and let's check this out. You got some good experience up here. You get to visit. That's a fact up there. That score up there, that butt whooping you took. Hey, we got to come back to San Antonio and we got to go to work. And some of these parents need to wake up and say, hey, let the hand go and let them go. Hey, we got to let them be more responsible for their game and get better at it. You can't be, you can't hover around them and hold their hand, because there's some dudes over there that will whoop you. And that's my thing is I enjoy going out of town to TABC, and I think it's a great team tournament because it's a team tournament. On top of that, it's opened up for UIL. UIL opened it up where coaches can get involved. The kids, I'm taking the kids from Jefferson and McCullum up there. I mean, just think about the experience. I have kids every year when I take them up there, and they're like, Coach, we've never seen this before. Well, yeah, when you're playing those backyard tournaments in San Antonio, hey, this is a different deal out here. We want to expose them, and it's a positive thing. It's a good thing for them, and I want them to, it's a reality check, I think, for everybody. If parents go up there and follow them, they see how much there's, I think what Duncanville, the gym out there, you have 6 floors going. You got to, you got all those people chasing that dream, trying to go to college and stuff. You got all that competition. It wakes you up a little bit, I think. And it's a great experience. It's a great team deal to bring coaches and chemistry with your kids. And it's I think it's just a positive. Now, the records and all that, if people are sensitive about that, hey, then we got to come back and get better in San Antonio, period.
Yep, love it. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, good perspective for sure. All right, Artie, for you. So me and Lorenzo talked a little bit before you jumped on. Both of you are going to tackle this, but we're talking about the AAU world and the high school world. They're very different. They should be different. We understand that. But I think there's some disconnect in San Antonio. I am in both. I know every AAU coach in the city, a bunch of these players, and then I'm very connected with high school coaches as well, being a referee and the assigner. So you already are in this as well. Your kids are coaching in it. They're part of the Toros. You're around all the time. So where do you feel AAU and high school from San Antonio perspective? Where do you think relationship is good? Does it need improvement? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, at first, if you'd have asked me that question a couple of years ago, I probably would have been like, I wasn't connected with the club, and I was thinking, I didn't agree with a lot of the things. But now it's AAU is part of the basketball circle. Everybody's part of that circle, the referees, the club, and that I think that comes down to trying to get everybody on the same page and understanding what's going on and helping and supporting each other. Like me, I mean, the club teams supporting the high school coach, and there's terrible high school coaches too. Don't I mean it's not we're not let's be real, but we're all on different pages, and I think if we can get that circle to tighten up a little bit and work together, I think it's a great thing. But again, that's a tough deal. It's everybody's on a different page. Everybody's trying to take kids from here, take kids from there, and shuffle them around, go to 3 4 schools. This coach Art's not very good over here, let's take him to Lorenzo because he's a better coach. And it's just we do a lot of shuffling like that. But I think it's a beautiful thing because I feel like club ball now it's part of high school basketball. I don't care what anybody says. The kids play for us and they go play for somebody else. You just hope that person they play for understands they're not trying to undercut the programs at the high school level, or we're not trying to undercut them either. But I mean, we got to have some sense though. Also, we can't go out there and be crazy about things. But I think it could benefit all of us if we do it right.
Okay, so add-on question for you, and I'm sorry if I put you on the spot. Why do you feel some high school coaches want nothing to do with the AAU world? Because I've heard it, and it's I'll be honest, it's more of the old school coaches. But you're old school; you've been around a long time. The younger, newer ones are all about it. Maybe they came from there, or they're just more connected. But I've talked to a lot of high school coaches. They're like, Mark, I want nothing to do with AAU basketball. That's a problem, right? So why do you think some coaches feel that way?
Yeah, I think just some coaches have had bad experiences where kids get stolen from club to club, maybe, and or the club coach undercuts the high school coach. But I think sometimes the high school coach doesn't get out there also and do his part of building relationships. I mean, it's about building relationships and understanding. Like everybody, like again, everybody has a different opinion, a different way of looking at basketball. But I want to communicate with you. I want to talk to you about basketball. I want to communicate with the Toros. I want to communicate with Boo Man. I want to communicate with all those guys and have a relationship. And I think sometimes sensitivity is people get real sensitive and they get where I don't they back off from it. And I think you just got to jump in it and start building those relationships. I think it helps. I mean, it helped your high school program. But yes, again, years back, I probably would have been like, no, I want to just strictly stay with high school basketball. But I think, I mean, there's benefits out there for us to get better. I mean, the support, the trainings, everything like that. We need all that stuff to compete. I mean, I'm not trying to say compete with Dallas or Houston again, but to compete, to get to that next level, to get to that state championship in UIL. I mean, what do we do? Just stay strictly high school or club? The club's helping us, and we also got to help ourselves also with that. And I think relationships is big, and I think some of the coaches, the high school coaches, they don't want to get involved with it because maybe they think there's too much going on, and I don't know. I think it's just part of basketball, part of that circle now, and we got to deal with it.
Yeah, I think San Antonio has great coaches. High school, AAU. I think there's so many. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and we just started racking off names. High school coaches, boys and girls, AAU coaches. We've got a lot of really talented coaches, but I think the issue is, to your point, we don't build relationships. Everybody's doing their own thing, and and then the community is lost. I would take our coaches over coaches all over Texas. I really would. I really believe that's how deep we are. But to your point, I think that's maybe a small disconnect. I think we're moving in the right direction. But man, for me, if we can just get all on the same page and start really worrying about the student athlete, I think it's really going to skyrocket, and we're going to continue to go the right way as far as IQ, mentality, all the things that we should have as an identity as a city. Lorenzo, same question for you. You're in the AAU world for 3 years. We talked a little bit with the Future, one of the best programs in San Antonio. So where are you at on this with kind of the relationship between the two?
Important relationships are important. I truly believe that AAU is important for high school, and high school is important for AAU. But just the communication between the coaches is important. I think getting in those gyms and talking to them and going to support them during practices is also important. But you have to make sure you're with the right program. I think that's truly important. What is your map? What are you trying to do with the AAU program that you're going to? Is that AAU program is trying to get you to the next level, playing at the college level, or are your AAU programs trying to get you to help you get more playing time for high school? So I think the problem is we have kids going to the wrong programs for the wrong reason. And you got to make sure when you draw out that map, you know where you're going. Like, and you got to make sure you go with that program that's going to help you get to that end goal. If you can't get to that end, you can be sitting on that bench because this team travels. They go watch go to the most games out of state, or they go play in front of the most college coaches. But you're riding the bench, so just make sure you get to the right program. Make sure. I think I want to do where my players are going to the programs I feel that are helping them. So having that not more control over that, but just knowing that my players are going to the programs that I feel like are making them better and not just taking their money. So I think that's important. I coached AAU, like you said, for a while, and you see it where you got programs that focus a lot more on development, and then you got a lot of programs that focus more on just getting up and down and just hooping. But getting your players to play for AAU programs that's focused on development, that's focused on getting them better. I think that's important. Coaches, high school coaches and AAU coaches needs to communicate and just be on the same page, and just make sure that AAU program kind of mirrors your high school program.
Okay, so add-on question. I think you touched on it, but so I put here: should a high school coach have influence on what AAU program their kids go to? And then the next question to that would be: do you want your kids all to go play on one team over the summer, or do you like them to be scattered and play for different teams?
Depending on what the player needs, I think if I feel like if a player needs to grow on his own without his teammates, I think he should go to a different AAU team than his teammates. But it would be awesome for you to have most of them playing on the same team. But you do have to have a couple of them that just need more growth depending on what they need. And I do think coaches should influence certain players to go to certain programs when it comes to AAU. Not only looking out for the player, but also looking out for the parent.
Yep, totally agree. Okay. Already next kind of add-on question, but we're still in the same topic. I've heard that the AAU coach, their job or responsibility is to get exposure in front of them and get them in front of college coaches, get them scholarships. The high school coach is to develop them during the season and win games. I have my own opinion on that, but I'm going to throw that out there. That goes around a lot. There's two different responsibilities from an AAU coach and a high school coach. Of course, high school coaches want to develop them as a kid on and off the court and win basketball games and get as far as you can in the season. AAU coaches, they don't care about winning or losing. They've got to get exposure and make sure that they showcase their kids. What's your opinion on that statement?
That's a big one. I think it's our job, whoever's involved with that kid, to get them just developed and improved. And I mean, if they get a shot at college, there's money involved in all this, though. I mean, parents are paying a lot of money, I think, and they're chasing that dream of going to college. So I don't know, maybe there's pressures on club coaches hey, we're paying you money. We're gonna, we need to get seen by colleges. We need to be seen, we need to be showcased. So that's a different animal for me. As a high school coach, these guys, they show up at my door. They are who they are, and I got to develop them. I got to win games. I got to improve them, not just as a basketball player, but I think it's our job as a club and a high school coach to develop them as men, to build character still. They have to. I mean, we can't. I mean, sorry, we can't have a bunch of guys that are just terrible people and trying to coach them. I think it's our job as the circle to 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 build character out of these guys. And I think when you build character out of these young men, then that coaching makes it really easier to coach those guys. But to expose them, like with the different animal with club and the colleges that they do have that mentality of they got to expose them to college coaches and get them to the colleges. I understand that, but because they're paying a lot of money to do that, parents. I think another big thing is parents do their research, and I argue with that with my athletic office over here, my football guys, my soccer guys. Parents are they do their research on a club, they do their research on the high school coach. They're investing money. There's a lot of money involved in this, and I think that's what tears everything all up. It throws things off when people invest money into their kids and they expect certain things. And my thing is that's probably where we run into problems with parents and club coaches and high school coaches. The amount of money that's invested in all this and the expectation is hey, we got to get this guy to college. But sometimes what do we just turn him into a good high school basketball player and a good young man and get him ready for life?
Yeah, 100% agree. Lorenzo, you can go here a little bit. It's a really tough question for me because I've been a part of both. So have you, Lorenzo. And to your point, Artie, they're paying money, right? So let's just say you're a parent, you travel out of state, you're paying thousands of dollars, and your kid doesn't get to play or don't play as much as you want them to play.
That's
I don't know any right parent that's going to be cool with that, right? You
no.
spent thousands of dollars and you've played 3 games, 4 games, and they may have played 4 or 5 minutes a game. And I don't know any parent that's going to get in the car or get back on a flight and be like, that was a successful weekend. It's tough, man. And then I
No.
feel for these AAU coaches as well because, maybe that kid is just not performing. But do you like, well, I got to play him because they've spent I really struggle with it.
It's
It is. It's tough, man. I mean, my kids are young, but we're getting into it now, and my wife, and especially having a emotional parent. Always one is more emotional than the other one, right? And my wife, it's just me trying to counsel her all the time and think bigger picture. But I'm in this world. There's so many parents that are not in this world. They don't understand all the ins and outs to it. And I agree with you too, Artie. I think both development's got to be number one. And you both notice I'm from Europe. It's so different when I got here that in Europe, we would practice 3-4 days a week, play one game. You lose, you're done. You got to go the next week. You got to be back in the gym working. And then, that loss would really sting because you got to wait another week before. Now you lose a game, you got a game in an hour, or we play the next day or whatever. Hey, there's losers brackets. Like you get 5 games no matter what. I'm like, winning has really not been at the forefront, and it's more about just getting as many games and exposure as you can. So it's an interesting world, but that's the world that we're given. So,
it's a
Lorenzo, go ahead. Touch on
it's
it.
a tough world. It's a tough world because I've been on that bench where we're 3-0 right now. It's the end of the Sunday. I'm like, man, we're trying to go 4-0, but Timmy needs to still play.
Yeah.
Timmy ain't played the whole week. I can't is glazing at me.
Yep.
But Tim needs to play, but I'm like, but I want to win. And we need to win because coaches love winners.
Yep.
Recruit winners.
Mm.
But Latimi paid his money, and Latimi needs to play. Latimi jumped on that bus, and Latimi jumped on the plane to get here. Latimi's mom and dad is also here. So Latimi needs to play, even though we're trying to win the game. And that's the tough part of AAU right there, man. That was a tough part. You win some games, but you also got to play everyone. And it was tough, man. It's tough. There's just so much money involved that it's hard for those AAU coaches. It's probably hard for those parents because they want the best for their kids and they work hard for that money, and they just want everything for their kids. And sometimes you forget about winning, and sometimes you forget about other kids. And it's a tough world, man. It's a tough world. It's a stressful world, honestly. Sometimes coaching AAU can be more stressful than coaching high school when that money comes involved. So it's a different world for coaches, parents, and players. But it's important that you have a map and you know where you want to go with the whole situation or pay that money.
Yeah. Coach Brewer said it like no one's knocking on his door about playing time. Excuse me? You want to talk about playing time in high school? How many times you think an AAU coach after the game, they see the mom, dad walking right to him? Oh boy, here we go, right? But again, because they're paying for a service. If I'm paying for something, I want something in return. So it is a tough world. No matter if you put the expectations out there as an AAU coach, playing time's not, it don't matter, man. When money is involved, that goes out the window. Emotions are very high, and parents are always going to be looking out for their kid more than anybody. You know, I tell my wife all the time, we've got to cheer for other kids as much as we do our own kids. It's an easy message, but you know how hard that is to do it. I watch parents all the time. They only get their phone out when their kid's playing or touch the ball. When someone else scores, they don't care. Like in soccer, they're like, whatever. But it's the moment their kid does something good, it's hard. Parents have to be better. Not easy, but it is. It's the world that we're dealt right now. Will this ever change? I doubt it. You know, but I truly believe if the high school coach and the AAU coach can come together, giving the same message, maybe we have less backlash from parents. Because imagine, you know, there's an upset kid at Jeff, and they call you and like, hey, coach, my kid didn't play at all this weekend. Well, yeah, this is the goal, right? This is, you know, and you can support it. The flip side to that is I think parents need to be more realistic about what they're doing with their kid, because if I'm traveling out of state and my kid's not playing, I need to check myself. Like, I probably should not be on this team. I need to have a conversation with the coach. Hey, can I get on a local team? Do y'all have a team that doesn't travel as much? Or I need to, you know, I think people chase the brand as opposed to development, right? They want to be, I'm on a shoe circuit, I'm on this team, but you ain't getting no minutes, you know? So I wish roster sizes were smaller, but that's also tough because if you go with a squad of 7 or 8 and you play 5 games, that's a lot. That's too much basketball and wear and tear on the body. So there's so many different things to this. It's always an interesting conversation. Purpose of the podcast is to get everybody aligned. I think if we start there, maybe we can get closer, but they are very different worlds as well. They can't be the same, right? The AAU and high school are very different, but man, it's a tough world we live in as far as that.
You know, going
Next
to
question.
You know, just real quick, that roster deal, I try to go with 7 or 8 guys during the summer. Because if we take them to Gassos or we take them, parent has to pay 30 or 40 or $50 to walk into that place, and they see their kids sitting there. I kind of put myself in the parents' shoes, and not to make it easier for them, but basketball, you only need 5 guys, and I try to make it where the roster during the summer, we start off in the spring off season with the San Antonio Gasso. I try to just stick 7 or 8 guys on the roster, and that's it, because I don't want parents coming in and seeing 12 guys, 4 or 5 guys, and they're paying that money to walk in, paying entry fee, paying the, I could see how it could bother a parent. Like, man, I just paid 60, $70 just to walk in and see my kids sitting on the bench, and we're a high school team. We're sticking in that. And I try to communicate, and I'm upfront with, and this is where some coaches, I think they don't communicate and they don't confront the right way, where they tell them, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going on. Because it can get tough when money's involved, I think, in the off season. During UIL season, it's kind of like we put that expectation out. It's gonna, playing time is limited if your kid's not good enough to play out there, blah blah blah, whatever. But when it comes to off season, when your money's involved and all that good stuff like that, I try to make sure that if those kids are showing up, that off season coach is playing them. Because I think it's for development wise. I think I need them to play, but that's a high school deal. The club is a different animal. I mean, because they're paying a lot more money. But for me as a high school coach, if we're involved in 4 or 5 tournaments like during the summer, I try to make sure that all these kids that are playing for me are getting developed and they're playing at all times, and parent gets to see their kid play a little bit.
Yeah. With the AU world, though, I mean, it's a business. People want 10, 12 on the roster. That's more money coming in. I'm just being real. I know that they'll do that based on income for them. I know some programs do a really good job of having practice players. I'm a big believer of this. They're just not quite ready for games, but hey, come get some reps, get some development reps. But we're not taking you to this tournament. As a parent, I would appreciate that because you're not going to waste my time and money. I know my kid's not good enough. Why am I going to go spend $300-$400 on a weekend where I know they're not going to get any court time? I like that AAU programs do that. And then they have red team, blue team, white team. I love that as well. Limited rosters. Future do a great job of that. So, yeah, do your research. I think you said that earlier, right? Do your research. If you go to a team and they got 12 on the bench, that's probably not the team that we want to go to, again, because your kids got to see the floor. I tell coaches that all the time. If you're not getting reps on the floor, how are you going to get better as a basketball player? It's just very simple science, but some parents don't quite understand that. All right, I want to talk about grassroots basketball. We'll start with you, Lorenzo. Also, Lorenzo over at Future talked about this, is how important the grassroots basketball coach is. Because I'll be honest, do you want kids coming on your campus that don't know how to shoot past dribble? I sure hope not. That's not fair to you guys. That should already be done, right? So we talk about how important it is at the younger grassroots level that kids are high IQ, great footwork, high skill set. Everything is done. That's the foundation. So when they get on your campus, I'm working on X and O's. I'm getting bigger, stronger, faster. But now I got for you to fit into my system. What are your thoughts on where grassroots is today, and that just kind of that statement? Anything you got on that?
I think it's important when it comes to grassroots that you start young. You get your kid to a program that has good coaches, that has developed players, that has been consistent, that has been around for years. Like Coach said, you want to do your facts check on everyone that your kid around. So grassroots, I think we're going in the right direction with that IQ, the development. I think we have some good coaches, have some good trainers in San Antonio area that does a great job working with the kids, just to put them in the right direction, because you can't teach size, you can't teach a lot of things, but that IQ, and working, like I said, ball handling and everything. I think just get your kids with the right people. Have some awesome trainers and some people that develop some players uh, over years of their times working, training, and coaching. But I think we do have some good guys in the grassroots in San Antonio that's doing a great job of building our skills and our IQ with our players.
Yeah, I talk about this a lot. A lot of trainers and coaches, guess who we want to work with?
The
We
best.
want to work with good players, right? You know how hard it is to work with a second, third, fourth grader? Coach Kramer, I mean, that's my mentor who got me into training. Watching him work with a second and third grader, you know, he was training Antonio Daniels, all these NBA guys. I was more impressed watching him with the 5, 6-year-old than I was him working with Antonio Daniels up here all the time. I was like, okay, it's a skill. It is a skill to work with somebody that young. He always told me, yeah, I can work with an AD all the time and tweak some stuff, but watching a 5-year-old make their first basket is bigger to me than anything. And that's stuck with me for, ever since he told me that. We do have some great trainers. I just wish every trainer that starts at the grassroots level. I see a lot of younger trainers that go straight to a high school kid, a college kid, and they're just rebounding for them. Yeah, that looks good on social media, but I want to see you train a 5, 6-year-old, because that's where it's needed. That's where the best coaches are needed at that young age, to get them to love the game. Great foundation. That's where I feel San Antonio really needs to start. These hungry coaches that are done playing, love it. Absolutely. We want basketball players. We want them to referee. We want them to stay around the game. But I would say anybody listening on here that you're a young coach, why don't you go start with the babies? Start there from the very bottom, and you'll find out real quick how hard it is to coach. And then you really just kind of evolve as a coach and figure out some stuff there for sure. I know you guys have coached super young kids, and you probably don't want to go back to doing it. You're like, I put my time in. Let me go back to deal with my high school kids, right?
Yeah, I actually started coaching kids at a young age, at 5 and 6, because I have nieces and nephews growing up, and my niece fell in love with basketball at a young age, and it was like 5 and 6 years old, and it was just work, grind, and she fell in love with it. But you do have to get it where they love doing it. You can't make kids at the age kind of like, let's go work. You got to get up and go work again. You got to let them fall in love with it first. Let them fall in love with it first, and then get them around good coaches at a young age, and watch them develop, and keep them with the same people for years and years. And I think that's just how you get better. Jumping around from training you to do this, I don't think you get.
Wait, you said jumping from trainer to trainer. You're not a fan of that?
No, I'm not. Let that trainer doing a great job. Now that trainer is feel like he's not. You need something else, and he's not giving it to you. You already then maybe you got to look around. Other than that, stick with someone that knows. Okay, we already have a plan. Don't go to somebody that just, okay, he's off today. Let's work. Let's have a plan. What are we working on? What are we trying to do? Where are we going?
That's an interesting topic that we didn't have down here, because, we talk about kids, high school portal, AU portal, kids leaving and go, all right. And we got a trainer portal too. You're right. People want to bounce around and leave their trainers because maybe they're not happy with the workout or whatever, or the kid is struggling. They immediately want to go somewhere else. It's funny. I usually hear from parents when their kid's not playing well. When a kid's playing well, I don't hear from nobody. But the moment like the shot is off or they're not, they're not handling the ball well, something, hey, coach, can we get in a workout with you? It's like when I during COVID, I picked up golf. I don't know why I did that. Bad idea. But he would always talk about it too, man. He goes, man, I would only hear from people when they're slicing the ball. But when they're good, I won't hear from them for months, right? I'm like, yeah, so that is interesting. The work's always the work. You got to keep going no matter what, So that's a good topic for another day. I think when I get some trainers on, we'll definitely talk about that. All right, let's close out. We're gonna do some Q&As and some quick hitters. Artie, the first one for you, and we kind of touched on it earlier in the podcast. The question is, which team are you taking out of your teams? We've got the 2012 Artie's Edison State team versus the Jeff 2021 that went to the third round squad. Which team are you taking out of those?
You're gonna get me in trouble with that. Of course, I mean that 2012 was a lot deeper and different teams. Every team's a different team every year, but that 2012 had a little bit more depth and a lot more skilled guys in each position. And I think the mentality, the toughness was a little different too in 2012. But that other group at Jefferson was tough also. But we were just shorthanded with certain spots. But I would probably go with the Artie's group on that one. And they're gonna probably be upset with me on that one. Those other guys at Jeff.
I won't tell you who sent it. You can probably guess who sent that question in. But I was hoping you were going to pick the 2012 team. That was the first year I started officiating, and Mac took me to watch you guys. That's when I knew who you were and already whatever, but that was Mac was like, hey, man, I want you to come to this game. I just got done my first year. That team was special, man. That was a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed watching Artie at the 1-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lorenzo, next question for you. How do you get young players, and this will be going, to buy into your system? And now you're going first year McCullum, and you're going to have a system in place. How do you get those players to buy into that?
Again, relationships and communication. That's important before you can tell anyone to do something or, hey, this is the best thing for you, is to get kids to be able to listen to kids, listen as a coach, and then getting that buy-in and that communication before you even put out that system that you're going to be a part of. But I also just in communication and talking to that player and having to sit down and letting them know that this is my expectations for you in this system, and go from there. Just setting out those expectations for them and them stand within the.
Love it. Artie, next question for you. How do you guys scout game plan for really good players?
I mean, visually, we go watch games, video. We work on. I know going into the playoffs, we have to plan against one or two guys that are gonna hurt us in the games. My thing is we try to get tendencies on video. Try to call around, talk to other coaches on how they played them. Myself, I'm more of a visual guy. I like going and watching games and getting a feel for the game and feel for how mentally tough that kid is or how skilled he is. Just to sometimes video, it's hard to see that on video. So I like watching, scouting games personally, and then working from that and getting my kids prepared through practice and who we're going to match them. It's about matchups, I think, especially when it comes in playoffs, when you're trying to match up with guys that are a little bit better than you, and we're trying to take away that top guy. I feel like that's what we've kind of done since I've been coaching, where we try to take that top dog right off the bat and say somebody else is going to beat us and go from there. And we strictly play. I mean, I think one year I played a little mix of zone, but strictly played man, gap it up, and pressure the ball a little bit and go from there. And a lot of it is getting your kids to play hard. I think it's not about all the X's and O's. Getting them to play tough, mentally tough, and playing hard and understanding. Keep it simple for them. I think we try to complicate things too much once in a while, and that's another topic where I think IQ. I mean, we got talented kids nowadays, but I think IQ, sometimes these kids don't. They go to their trainers, they go with their high school coach, but I don't think they study the game enough to understand, the angles and all the good stuff, how to guard somebody defensively and how to play offensively, So, yeah, I'm a visual person. I like going and watching games and writing on a piece of paper, man, old school kind of way.
I know you do. I'd always see you going to games with your two guys, always your two assistants with you. And it's probably because you don't know how to work huddle. I mean, it took you 20 minutes to get on here. You're not a
You're right.
No, but I love that though. Going to gyms. I appreciate it about you being old school because it's so easy now to just jump on huddle and just be at home,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
don't get the feel for it. It's like when I go have to evaluate referees, I don't like doing it on there because you want to be there and see. You want to see the environment, see how they're communicating with players and coaches. Just being at the gym, you get to see a lot more. And like to your point, how tough is that kid and things like that you're scouting against. So yeah, I love about the IQ part. I think that's a big identity too for San Antonio. Yes, we want to be mentally and physically tougher, but man, if we could just be the smartest basketball players out there, really understand the game, taking care of the basketball, those things, just every possession counts. I think that's going to be huge. And that starts at the grassroots level with the high school AAU trainer, everyone involved with that kid. We've got to be having those two things in mind. I think will be a good recipe for success. All right. Next question, then we'll go quick hitters. Lorenzo, advice for young coaches. And we got a lot of really like young players getting off the floor. I love that they're either going to go referee or coach. Most pick the coaching route because they don't want to get yelled at as referees. I get it. But what advice you got for them, for young coaches?
Number one thing, be passionate and really love what you do. Just know it's going to be long hours. You're going to be some lonely nights. It's going to be some mad parents. It's going to be some unhappy players. But be passionate and really love what you do. To stick to your standards. Don't never change your standards. Your standards are your standards. Number 3, coach them hard, but love them even harder. Because when you coach them hard, they're gonna have some hard days and some hard nights, and that's when you're gonna have to love them. You're gonna have to hug them and let them know that it's gonna be all right, and nothing. It's not personal. It's all love. So coach them up, love them up, be passionate, and always just focus on your standards.
Yeah, love it. Great. Yeah, great advice. Okay, let's close on some quick hitters. So the first one is NBA or college?
College.
Thank you. Early or late practices?
Early.
Both early guys, yeah. Okay. Artie, for you first. One word to describe your team this year.
Hardworking.
Relentless.
Okay. If you weren't a coach, what would you be? I don't know what I would be. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know anything else about basketball. What do you think, Artie? Fisherman, pro on the pro bass, whatever they do on ESPN, and
I
the
don't know
pro
about
fisherman.
pro fisherman. I'd probably be a fishing bum on the beach, maybe something like that. You know what? I've always had a thing about law enforcement. I love law enforcement.
Okay. You want to be like a policeman or you want to be a detective? What would you want to be?
A policeman or something, maybe. I don't know. Work my way
You'd
up.
be a scary cop, man. I won't mess with you.
Oh, come on, man.
No, but you're the big teddy bear, but I want to mess with you though. That would be. I'm like, no. So, Lorenzo, what about you?
That's a hard one. Still, I'm still over here thinking. All I know is coaching.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm always loving sports, so maybe athletic director.
Okay. All right. Hey, when you're done in coaching, that's what a lot of people do. They go into into that route. All right, next one. Best team you've ever played against?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I played against some good teams.
Yeah, we played some good teams. I mean, I could name a whole bunch of teams. Brewer had a few teams that were pretty good out there. Warren had a couple good teams back in the day. Brennan had a few teams too that we played. I mean, we were just blessed to be able to play teams like that, though. I think as a coach and help you improve as a coach. Playing against guys like those teams.
Yep. Okay. Lorenzo?
Coming over from Stockdale, we had Cole in our district.
Oh,
so
good.
those teams that won state that you played against were at state. So playing against those teams and those programs, I thought against Cole was pretty tough.
Yeah, they were tough. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Best player you've ever had to coach against? Like you just couldn't stop them, no matter the scout report. Didn't matter.
Shoot, I couldn't stop Lammers back in 2012.
Yeah. Lammers was tough. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. No one can get a hold of that guy. He don't want nothing to do with it. Yeah, everyone's like, you got to get Lammers on, and I can't get him on. I think is he still playing pro?
I think so. Or no, I don't think so. Prince was good too. From Warren, we played against Prince.
Yep.
He was tough. There's a whole bunch of guys that were really good throughout the years.
Do you remember Ed Johnson, the referee? Unfortunately, he passed. Remember Ed Johnson with the Rohawks?
Yes.
Yeah, I had my first Warren game, and Prince threw the ball at him.
Really?
Yeah. Prince was a nightmare in high school, man.
We played.
Man, he was so good. He was so hard to referee, man.
He was. Yeah, Ed Johnson. I haven't heard that name in a while, man. That was a great guy, man.
No,
I
miss Ed. Yep. What about you, Lorenzo?
I'll say I'll go with this one as a player in high school. AAU was probably LaMarcus Aldridge. He was just he was a dog, and it was a dog in high school. It was long. They treated him like drawing cameras and everything. He got his butt in on us. So I was playing.
All right, last one. Nobody has ever gone on with me on this one, and we'll see your best basketball movie or your favorite one.
That's
mine, Coach Carter, probably.
Coach Carter. Okay,
that is a good one right there. That's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, because you got tough coaches. We need more Coach Carter.
Yeah, I like the toughness in Coach Carter. That kind of represents guys that really are passionate and going after it. I'll go with Coach Carter.
Okay, yeah, and you kind of have athletes like that in your program too, so it hits home. Yeah, okay. Well, fellas, I appreciate you both coming on. What a great podcast, a lot to unpack. So I know anybody listening can get a lot out of it. Always enjoy talking to you both. I'm excited for both of you this year, especially you, Lorenzo, in your first season with McCollum. And then Artie, I know you're going to get the best out of your kids this year for sure. If you need anything throughout the year, I'm always here for you. Usually referee stuff. If you got some referee questions, hit me up. But again, I thank you both for coming on. I hope you have a both great July 4th. And then you enjoy Sunday back out there fishing with all the coaches. And we'll be talking again soon. Take care.
Appreciate you.
Mark, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Dropping Dimes podcast. Make sure to go follow us on IG at Dropping Dimes Pod. Remember, each Friday we'll be dropping a new episode, so hit the follow and bell notification buttons to never miss any content. Let's get better together. We out.